Well, the hits just keep coming for Diddy. A new lawsuit filed in the Supreme Court of New York. April Lampos has come forward with accusations against Sean Diddy Combs, alleging he drugged and sexually assaulted her in the 1990s. Marks the sixth woman now to file assault claims against the hip-hop mogul. Lampos, a former student at the Fashion Institute of Technology, detailed in the lawsuit 4 terrifying sexual encounters with Combs. She claims the incidents occurred after they met in 1994 while she was pursuing her studies in New York City. Lampos accused Combs of forcing her to take ecstasy and engage in sexual acts with him and then-girlfriend Kim Porter. Kim Porter, remember, is dead. She also alleged retaliation from Porter, which led to Lampos losing her job. According to the lawsuit, their first horrific encounter happened in 95 when Combs pressured Lampos to drink at a bar in New York City before taking her to his hotel, where he allegedly raped her despite her attempts to resist. Following the incident, Lampos claimed Combs sent her gifts, cards, flowers, and leveraged his power in the music industry to try and lure her back. She recounted another assault where Combs yanked her down to her knees and forced her to perform oral sex on him in front of a parking garage attendant. Lampos described the relationship characterized by Combs' manipulation and threats. She said he used his connections and influence in the music industry to ensure her compliance with his demands. What is this, like, in front of a parking garage? Is that, like, what, to show your power or something? Like, that's just fucking weird. Like, look at me, parking garage attendant. I can forcibly make someone have oral sex with me right here. That's how fucking powerful I am. I mean, that's fucked up.
What a sick human being, especially, and forgive me, but when you're that powerful, first of all, the guy's got a shit ton of money. He's fairly good looking. Why did he have to go to these lengths? Well, it's a power thing is what it is. This wasn't about trying to get sex. This was trying to have dominance over people and just be a complete fucking asshole.
Yeah. A particularly distressing encounter occurred in 96 when Combs allegedly forced Lampos and Porter to take ecstasy at his Manhattan apartment. Despite her vocal opposition, Combs demanded that Porter engage in sexual acts with Lampos, eventually leading to another alleged rape by Combs. The lawsuit also detailed Lampos' final encounter with Combs around the end of 2000 or early 2001. After ending things with him in 98, she ran into him at Rockefeller Center, where he expressed a desire to reconnect. Lampos eventually allowed him to visit her apartment, where he allegedly assaulted her again. Lampos claimed that Combs' behavior had not changed, and she asked him to leave her apartment, knowing he was in a relationship with Jennifer Lopez at that time. Here's my question about a lot of this. It's one thing if you're, like, stuck in a situation and you can't get around. You're inviting him to your apartment after he raped you.
Ew.
Why? I'm sorry. There does need to be a bit of accountability here if you're inviting your rapist to your apartment after all of that time.
Well, but look at his status. Look at his station.
Well, that's
in the
great. Well, then you're basically volunteering to be part of his horrible behavior if you're actively inviting. If you're not in contact with the guy anymore, you've survived the shit, and you're like, hey, come on over. I'm sorry. No,
yeah,
I mean, that's not just like, hey, you forced me somewhere to do this and I have no control over it. That's different. But this person continually kept going back to this person that's doing these horrible things to them on their own free will. That's a little different.
Yeah, that needs some help. And I'm not going to sit and blame the victim here. And I'm not saying that's what you're doing.
I'm not blaming the victim, but I'm saying if you're choosing to invite your rapist and you know this person has done these horrible, horrible things to you, why are you inviting them to your house?
Yep.
Answer that. That's the question.
I get that completely.
That is the question, because you don't have to. It's not like you need to bring this person into your life anymore. You are choosing to bring this person back into your life again. Now, there could be a whole fucked up psychological thing with that's a whole other conversation. But at the same point, you're making choices and you're choosing to invite the person that you believe raped you multiple times over to see you at your house.
To me, that speaks of dysfunction in her brain as well.
1,000%. Now, I'm not discounting that these things happen by any means. I'm thinking of a lot of dysfunction in the brain there. But again, at the same point, everybody's making choices here. You're telling that rapist to come over to your house. I don't know.
I'm wondering, is it because he was in a relationship with Jennifer Lopez and maybe she thought he'd changed, he was different?
Who fucking cares if the guy raped you? Why are you inviting him back? I don't care if he became the president of the United States and is, or the fucking Pope. Those are even creepier. But if you why on earth would you ever invite a rapist back to your house after they've raped you repeatedly? Ever. For any reason. No matter who they're with. Or thinking that why? What reason could one possibly have for doing that?
Yeah, I know. Have some self-respect and say, no, I don't ever want to be in the same building with this human being ever again in my life. But who knows what was going on in her brain? Well,
yeah. I mean, I'm not dissecting that, but I'm just saying, look, choices have been made here. And it doesn't make any sense of like, oh, maybe he's better. Like, he fucking raped you. I don't care if they're better. It's a horrible human fucking being. Why, even if they are better, why would you want anything to do with that person? Like, let me forgive you for this. Fuck that. I can't imagine. It's like, I don't know. Lampos is seeking unspecified damages for battery, sexual assault, negligent infliction of emotional distress, and violation of the victim's gender-motivated violence protection law. Representatives for Combs and Lampos attorneys did not immediately respond for requests to comment from People. The allegations come on the heels, of course, of similar claims by Combs' ex, Cassandra Cassie Ventura, who released a statement following the publication of the video showing her being physically abused by Combs in 2016. I think he's a horrible fucking human being, and he'll take advantage of anyone who opens the door for him, basically. So don't open the door for him.
Yeah, I think that's the moral here.
No, I'm sorry. I believe he probably did these things. It's going to be really hard to have any sort of credibility with it when you're saying he did all these horrible things to you, and yet you still chose to voluntarily go have contact and have him come over to you. That's just, it's not going to hold up. I think there's a lot of people where he cornered and did horrible things to, and it looks like he did that to her quite a bit in this. But at some point, if you kept inviting it to, and literally telling him to come over to your house, and he's your rapist, I'm sorry. No one ever deserves that to have happen, but why the fuck would you do that? Why would you bring that monster back over to your house and think he's going to be different?
The only reason I could see to ever do that is if you're wearing a wire and you want to trap him.
Sure, but that doesn't appear to be what was happening.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I hope he's going to go down on so many things. I'm going to guess the statute of limitations is probably up on this one, but I think she's far from the only person. Obviously we know she's not. There's going to be many, 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 many more that continue to come out. But yeah, when you have somebody that evil, you stay away at all costs.
Want to listen ad-free? Want advanced access to all of our interviews before anyone else?
Become a True Crime Today Premium Plus subscriber on Apple Podcasts.
You get every episode commercial-free.
So you can binge on true crime
until you can binge no more.
Search True Crime Today Premium Plus on Apple Podcasts now, or go to our podcast page and sign up now.
More of the Hidden Killers podcast next.